Hi there everybody, this is David, and Terranigma was just announced. I have some mixed feelings on this though. I want to go over everything that we know about Terranigma, but I also want to give you my honest thoughts on it because kind of upset, I've gotta say. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on right into what we know about Terranigma, what it's coming out on, what is going on with it, and that's totally worth the sub as you come and you join a party and you level on up with me. Thank you so much for your sub, your like, and your brand new hype. It helps me out a ton. So, Terranigma, if you want to know what it's all about, I put a video out about Terranigma just yesterday, really going over why it's such a great game, why you need to play it, why it stood the test of time, why it's kind of a timeless classic, and why it's so good. It is a fantastic game. I am very, very, very happy that it is coming out for modern consoles and that we are getting an official North American release. This is our first North American release of the game. So yeah, I think that that is great. It's coming out for the Switch, Switch 2, PS4, PS5, Xbox, Steam, and GOG. And it says they're expected to begin shipping early 2027. And according to RPG site, it says a physical release is also planned. Did not say which systems would be getting a physical release. It just said that a physical release is also planned. It also said that original members of the creative team are returning, such as the composers, who are creating new arrangements of select songs, as well as the artist as well. Okay, so looking at the game itself, I just am kind of disappointed. It is a straight port. It looks like it's just a ROM and an emulator. Terranigma needs a retranslation. All of the Quintet games in general had really poor translations. A lot of SNES games back in the day had some notoriously bad translations, like Breath of Fire 2, like, my god. But the Quintet games in general, especially Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma, Soul Blazer, their translations were pretty freaking terrible. And not only were the translations poor, but the font choices were poor as well. It doesn't have a variable with font, and the font just looks very boxy, I suppose. So it makes it hard to include as much text in the game as they could in Japanese, because, you know, Japanese characters do syllables, whereas, you know, we just do each letter, so we can't fit as much into the game. So we actually end up getting less story told in the game if we don't have a variable with font, so I am upset about that. We're not even getting a widescreen support of the game either. They're taking the game, they're putting it like a little box or a square, putting on a really dumb border. I'm sorry, it's just like blue. Like, it's not even artwork. It's just like this blue, boxy, ugly border. And then it has, you know, some stuff over on the screen, a little box, your experience, how many experience points you need to get to the next level, how much gold you have, even though it already shows how much gold you have on the screen itself. And then like a little 3-item swapper, you can hit the L or R button to swap to a different item, which I guess is a good quality of life feature, but at the same time, it's like, why don't you retranslate it? Why don't you take this opportunity to retranslate it? Why don't you take this opportunity to give it that widescreen support, or the, you know, the normal support that a game like this would have? Then we have to look back at the history of Quintet games. Square Enix owns Quintet at this point. They are working with Quintet. You can see the Square Enix logo down there. And a couple of years back, about 5 or so years ago, Square Enix looked at a Quintet game and they redid it. And they redid it properly. They redid it. They took ActRaiser and they turned it into ActRaiser Renaissance. And they really did it up nicely. So I have to say, if they did that for ActRaiser, why isn't Terranigma getting the same treatment? Why can't we be consistent here? If they took Live Alive, which was an SNES game, and it wasn't nearly as popular as Terranigma, and they gave that one the HD 2D treatment, why aren't they giving Terranigma the HD 2D treatment? Why does Terranigma get the redheaded stepchild treatment? Why does Terranigma just get a straight port? Why doesn't it get a Renaissance treatment, like ActRaiser did? Why doesn't it get an HD 2D treatment, like Live Alive did? Why is Terranigma getting the shaft. Then we can look at some more Square Enix games right here, and we can say, okay, we know that there's a bunch of quintet games on the SNES. There's actually 6 of them. I'm talking about the Heaven and Earth trilogy, which is Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma, okay? But there's also ActRaiser, there's ActRaiser 2, and there's also RoboTrek. So there's actually 6 quintet games on the SNES, and they could have done a quintet collection, either of all 6, like they did with the Final Fantasy collection. We got 6 Final Fantasy games on one PlayStation 4 disc and one Switch 1 cart, so you can't tell me that they can't put 6 quintet games on a disc or a cart. They also did collections of 3 games before. The Collection of Mana, you know? This was Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, Daiken Densetsu 3. There was the Collection of Saga, which was the 3 Game Boy games put on one. Why aren't we getting a collection of Gaia? You know what I'm saying? They even gave us the Dragon Quest games collected. Yeah, it's mobile, but whatever. They gave us a collection. Hell, they gave us 10 frickin' Kingdom Hearts games together on a collection. 10 of them! 10! But we are getting just Terranigma? How much are they going to sell Terranigma for? $40? $50? For one game? If it comes out physically, I can't imagine it's anything going to be less than $40. Collections are huge. We got these. We got Suikoden Collection. We got Lunar Collection. Why can't we get a collection that includes Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma, Soul Blazer? Especially if it's just going to be so cheaply done. That's what I'm saying. If they did it as an HD 2D, or if they did it as a Terranigma Renaissance, then I'd say, okay, yeah, whatever, you know, that makes sense. Let's go ahead and, you know, it's worth the $40, $50, whatever it is that they're going to sell it for. But as just an SNES game, as just a ROM, and it doesn't look like it has any voice acting. I think the voice acting was just for the trailer. And it didn't really show any quality of life feature improvements either. Like it said, you know, it's reborn and revised. I didn't see any sort of quest markers in the trailer. I didn't see any retranslations. I didn't see that variable with font. I didn't see anything that showed me that they're putting extra work into this. It looks like just a straight port. And that's really upsetting to me. Like, Terranigma is such a good game. It's such a good game that it deserves quality. It deserves time put into it. It deserves to be treated with respect. And for them to just port it out like this, I don't think that that's treating it with the respect that it deserves. If they were just going to port it out like this, then at least include Illusion of Gaia and Soul Blazer in there. Put it in a collection like they did with Mana, like they did with Saga, like they did with Dragon Quest. Put it in a collection. Or do it HD 2D. Or Renaissance it like they did with ActRaiser. But don't just do this. Like, I'm very upset about it. And I hate to come to y'all and talk about a game that I love and a game that everybody's really looking forward to, and I know that y'all are too, and then just kind of like talk about like this, you know what I mean? Like, I hate that, but at the same time, I have to be honest, and I have to say Terranigma deserves better than this. It deserves better. But now I want to know from you, what do you think about this whole situation? Do you think it's okay just to do it like this? Do you think that it deserves a collection, a Renaissance, an HD 2D? Or are you okay with just getting a straight port with no retranslation and seemingly no quality of life features ever? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, have a good day.